All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Major Sanchez from Task Force Shield. Basically, what we do here in Task Force Shield is we receive the incoming passengers. We make sure they're safe in a government-approved quarantine facility, and then once they quarantine for a certain number of days, then we can send them home. So how that all starts is we get our projected numbers from the Emergency Operations Center. So if you look at that board over there, that's our projections for the next 3 days. So we base our operations at the airport off of that board. So if they arrive in the morning, in the daytime, at graveyard, we make sure we have folks at the airport to receive them. So once they're at the airport, once they come through, they go through the airport team, public health screens them, customs screens them. If they come into our area at the airport, they're gonna go to a quarantine facility. All right. So once they go through the airport, they get on a bus that is arranged with and coordinated with DPW, and they're transported to the quarantine site. Okay, so right now we have 3 main quarantine sites that we use. So that's Wyndham, Bayview, and Ocean View. So we do have another quarantine facility in our hip pocket. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but in case our numbers come close to that mark, then we have to open that up. All right? And so we don't engage or run the isolation facility, which is days in right now. Okay. So once they're in the quarantine facility, they're there for at a minimum 14 days. The new policy out right now with public health is if they're there, they can test on the 7th day. If they test negative, then they can be released the following day once their test results are in. But the whole time that they're in our quarantine facility, we make sure they're fed. We make sure they're taken care of for amenities such as Wi-Fi. If it's not good in the room, we make sure that the hotel staff knows about it. If we can't get it fixed, then we move them to a different room that has that amenity. And aside from that, they can be receiving food or other items from their loved ones here while they're waiting to graduate from their quarantine facility as well. So on their graduation day, we call it graduation day, whether they're testing out or whether they reach the 14-day quarantine time period, then they're released to go home. Right? If they do show signs or symptoms, they're tested again, and then if they're, like I said, if they're negative, then they're good to go. They can go home. Right? And then that's basically it for the operations here at Task Force Shield. If you have any questions?
You said that you guys are not working with Days In right now, that facility?
We don't manage Days In. So if there is somebody that tests positive at one of the other quarantine facilities, we arrange transportation, we arrange with public health to get them to Days In.
So Days In is where new positive are confirmed?
Correct.
It's the isolation facility?
It's an isolation facility.
So how many, I kind of missed it, but how many facilities altogether?
So we manage 3 properties.
Okay.
Wyndham, Bayview, and Ocean View.
Okay, and Days In serves as the isolation.
Days In's isolation facility.
Who
And then
operates
you
Days In?
mentioned another,
I'm sorry?
Sorry, so then who's operating the Days In one?
That's government law.
Oh,
We're not sure who.
So you guys just transport?
Correct. Well, so we'll transport depending on the severity of their symptoms. They have to go to the hospital first. If they're stable, then they go to Days In.
and what's the standby facility that's something else?
So there is another quarantine facility in our hip pocket in case we do need to open that if there's a plus up in numbers, and that facility is Royal Orchid.
You say hidden pocket?
Hip pocket. So if we have to break it out, we can.
All right,
And it's Royal Orchid, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
so no one's there right now?
Nobody's there right now.
Okay. How many people leave a quarantine facility per day?
It depends. It depends on how many come in.
14 days before.
The 14 days before, but now with the new policy, they can leave as soon as 8 days. So they test on the 7th day, and then they're released the following day if they're negative. So it all depends on the PAX number that comes in during that time period.
How many people can be held at each facility, and how do you determine where someone goes?
So that varies. If you look on the board here also as well, the total rooms per hotel, you see the breakdown. So it's a different number of rooms that we have at each hotel. And also if the rooms are dirty, which means somebody just vacated less than 24 hours ago, we can't fill that room yet. So that will affect the numbers as well.
Are there any, other than the guard, are there any government officials manning these hotels? The ones that you guys manage?
So we do partner up with the law enforcement folks. They do have a presence at each site as far as security. If there is some kind of issue that we may have with the guests, we can call on them if it if it's outside our jurisdiction.
But no Guam employees manning it or overseeing it, operations there?
No, it's all run by the Guard.
So, what I guess I'm trying to ask is what no directors is, was in the
No.
past, or just the Guard and
Just the Guard.
whatever?
The Guard and law
officials-
enforcement for support.
Is there a lot of shuffle between the facilities when it comes to people and individuals? Because you said, you know, how one person leaves and the rooms get mixed up. Is there shuffling a lot?
Not a lot, so sometimes there'll be something wrong with the room. So if you could actually look at this column here in the dirty room, or the out of order rooms, sometimes there could be something wrong with the room. The shower's not working properly, or something needs to be cleaned, then we can shift them to another room. In case, the worst case scenario is there's no rooms available, and we gotta put them in another hotel. So that, the availability of rooms and how many rooms they have at that moment would affect where they go. The same with the incoming passengers.
You've received word that one man has died in a hotel quarantine site. Do you have any information on that?
I do not have any information, they're still investigating.
Do you know what facility it was?
Okay, can I disclose that?
So my understanding, because I just got the message too this morning, my understanding is that it occurred at the Ocean View late last night, toward the end of our swing shift, and the beginning of the midnight shift. It was handled by GPD and GFD in response, and pending any information from them, that's all we know at this time.
So it was a traveler?
It was one of our guests in the quarantine facilities, that's correct.
How many days have they been there?
That part, we can get back to you and we'll let you know about that. I don't have that information on me right now because it's just still developing at this time. And as far as the name and stuff like that, we're allowing GPD and GFD, along with the hospital facility he was taken to release any information to next of kin first, out of respect for the family.
So it was a man?
Him or her, sorry.
You said he.
I did. So it could be
Him or her.
Okay. And so you don't know the cause of death then right now?
We don't, not at this time.
Okay. Can you tell us what happens if this situation occurs? What does the Guard do?
So we would, if the nurse at the site needs assistance, we would don any PPE that we may have at the site, depending on the level of assistance they need. Other than that, the nurse will take care of it. We'll call 911 and then they'll come in and assist as needed. So we don't engage that type of situation head on.
Okay, so you guys don't actually go into the room and get blood or anything?
No, we can't.
Okay.
Okay. Can you take us, I guess, step-by-step process of how you guys did react then yesterday when this happened, or last night?
So, I believe, what happened was that for whatever reason, that the attendant in the room was not, part of the evidence was that they weren't utilizing their meals. So every night, there's meals that's placed outside the door.
The deceased was not utilizing their meals?
Correct. Well, we wouldn't know they were deceased at the time.
But
So
you just noticed meals were not.
They weren't eating
the
their
meals were
meals.
not being taken from the point that we were putting them at. So we asked the nurse to assist and go in and check the person, and they were found unresponsive.
How long did that occur before you asked the nurse to check the person?
It was immediate.
Well, I
So
mean, how long was it that you noticed the person was not taking the meals?
I'm not sure. I haven't had that information.
What time did this all?
This was late last night.
Approximately.
It was late last night. So I want to say between 8 and 9 last night.
Okay. And you said that it's under the police and GFD.
Right, so once the food was noticed to not being consumed, that's when the room was entered and the nurse, from my understanding, attempted to conduct CPR. And then, like the good major said, after the guest was found unresponsive, that's when the nurse and 911 was called, the emergency responders were called, and it was turned over to those first responders at that time.
That was the only guest in that room?
That I'm not sure. But like I said, we can find that out.
You did say meals. I mean, is this like just one meal outside the door wasn't taken in, or is this over a longer period of time?
It might have been just from that same day. I'm not sure about the details of that.
Okay.
It could have been just from lunch. They noticed that the lunch meal wasn't taken in as well. So they just wanted to double check the person. Why weren't they eating?
Okay, so probably it sounds like a couple of meals.
It might have been a couple of meals.
Okay.
We're not sure about those details.
How often are the checks made on the occupants in the room and by whom?
Every day, so public health will come in contact with the occupants to make sure that they're not experiencing any of these symptoms, or if they have some kind of health condition, they check on them and make sure that they're okay in that regard. So every day they're being contacted by somebody.
So, but a question about procedure then. What do you guys do when you guys are the ones handing over the meals to the?
Correct.
So you just leave it at the doorstep?
We leave it, so in every facility, there's either a table or a chair. So we put the meal on top of that table or chair.
Okay.
And each guest knows the meal times of each day. So what they'll do is they'll knock on the door, and that will be their cue that lunch or breakfast or dinner is ready.
So you leave it, you knock on the door and you leave it wherever it needs to be, and you go off to do whatever else you need.
Correct. We go down the hall
Okay.
and deliver the meals.
Is it 3 meals a day?
3 meals a day, yes, sir.
Do you know who the contractor for the meals are?
It's different for, forget the name, Bayview and Ocean View utilize the same contractor. Wyndham is a different
Is
contractor.
it a Guam contractor or?
I'm not
the
sure.
hotels are doing it?
The hotels are contracting with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, so John, all those procurement things, whether it's the hotel itself or the food vendors, the procurement process happens up with FEMA,
It's a headway?
up at the Office of Homeland Security and
Oh,
Civil
okay.
Defense. Yeah, they're the ones that do the procurement. We just facilitate it with the food deliveries to the rooms.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was Ocean
Ocean
View,
View?
right?
Sorry?
At Ocean View?
Last night, yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Sad.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Very sad.
Okay, so we get to get info from GPD then, any follow-up?
That's right.
GPD.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
for further, I would just, call Paul or Kevin and ask them. They may have their own investigations ongoing too, so they would know more than we do.
Good.
All right.
Oh, one other thing, how many total have you handled? I don't think you mentioned. I believe Mark said 20,000 since it started?
Correct, sir, about that amount.
Yeah, so we took a snapshot about last week, Bruce, and since we took over from GovGuam, the question you asked earlier, on March 21st, we processed, at the snapshot last week was about 20,100 total guests through the quarantine facilities.
Does that show the total capacity that you have right now for all quarantine
Yeah,
facilities?
take them through the board.
Yes, sir. So for each facility, which is right there on the far left column, we have a total available rooms. But like I said, some things affect the actual availability of the rooms, such as if any of them are out of order here. And if any of them were just previously occupied within 24 hours, we can't send anybody into that room, so that affects availability also.
And how many is not occupied?
So right now, we have available to fill 81,
81 total. for
81 rooms.
That's in total, right?
Yes, sir.
And what's out of order? 14 in Bayview?
Yeah, so there are some that are still undergoing renovation.
Mm.
So we consider them out of order until they're done with that renovation, then we can pull them into